From AfterBuzz TV, it's
Ringside Pop, you know it don't stop. With flicks to the business of everything that's hot. Call it Ringside Pop, you know it don't stop. With the flicks to the business of everything that's hot. Welcome to Ringside Pop with Stevens, Marty Elias, and Dale Rutledge.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a spooky edition of Ringside Pop. Although I am wearing a Chip and Dale costume, it's not terribly spooky, I guess.
It's so cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. I thought Dale playing Dale is the best way to start this off. I am Dale Rutledge. This is Ringside Pop, and we are here to talk about all things spooky, but especially inside of the WWE. Can the WWE still be scary? What are some scary characters from the past that still haunt us today? And much, much more. So let's get right to our panel. First up, as always, the mean queen herself. Oh, hey, I'm talking about you now. It's Keven Stevens. How's it going?
It's going great.
I mean, Awesome Kong. Look at this outfit.
Yes. I decided when we decided to do Halloween, you're backwards. So now I'm just talking to myself. When we decided to do Halloween, I was like, think of something scary to be.
Awesome Kong is definitely scary.
She scares the shit out of everyone. So yeah.
Rawr.
Rawr. Rawr.
And I miss Awesome Kong, I gotta be honest.
I do too. So she needed to come out.
She needed to come out. I'm glad
Visit
she
the
joined
world.
us. Yes, indeed. Don't do nothing to me, though.
Right.
Dale is just an innocent little chipmunk.
So this was right the first time.
Yeah, you got it. And also joining us, dressed as a referee,
Kissery.
Kissery.
I like that. That's real good.
How long did
Marty
you
Elias.
think about that?
That just came out the top of my head.
Look at Marty.
Improv, baby, improv.
I will say, though, this hat, I mean, that is a nice little hat.
Thank you. This hat was actually given to me by Ray Phoenix. Animo. Yeah, brother.
Animo.
Gracias. Yeah, he knew I was a big Kiss fan, and of course, different countries always have cool merchandise, and he brought this up to me one time at a taping, and I went, brother, this is awesome. So
It's like all the work of the makeup, but without doing anything but putting a hat on.
exactly. So and then with the stripes and everything. So
I dig it.
strolling, brother.
You know, I watched, was it Daddy's Home? I texted you right after it on the airplane just recently, and I didn't realize Kiss was such a big...
no, why him?
Why him? Yes.
Why him?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's great, because I remember going to the movies because Paul Stanley had posted a photo from his set. And it was like kind of, the same thing with role models,
Right.
When we went to go see role models, I mean, I didn't know he was going to have Kiss that much. I went, oh my God. So I'm marking out at the movie theater.
All your little Kiss fam right there.
Yeah.
All right, it is time for us to get to the news. Lots of big stuff happening in WWE this week specifically. So let's start there. TLC is today. I can't think of a pay-per-view that wrestlers have missed for an illness, like a broken bone or something, something pretty severe, sure, but Roman Reigns is sick. The Shield reunion is not going to happen at this pay-per-view. He is, meningitis?
Meningitis.
So he's got meningitis. Bray Wyatt was also on the card. He is also sick. That's right. That's the excitement of sickness that we're hearing right now.
How's he still look sexy in like a hospital bed? Like he makes hospital beds sexy.
That is definitely a talent. I don't know, maybe that can pull off a hospital gown.
Aren't you a nurse?
What? I'll be one today.
Hello.
Time for your medicine.
Right?
Yeah.
Where can I stick it?
Arrow.
I think you found the vein.
And a pulse.
So Bray Wyatt also sick. So I guess I'm not completely sure, but I guess this all started with Bo Dallas. He's been missing off of TV for weeks now. Bray Wyatt has also he's been on TV, but he hasn't been in the ring. So what they've been doing is this photo that we have here. Sister Abigail was always this sort of, ethereal personality, and now she is embodied in him. And so this photo of this fan is about how half the fans have reacted to Bray Wyatt's character turn. But we found out he's been sick this whole time. So they're doing this whole angle to kind of protect him. They thought he'd be well by today for TLC. He's not well enough. So 2 people off the card for the pay-per-view. So Super weird. Have you guys experienced something like that for a sickness?
No, never. No.
Because usually in wrestling, if you can walk and breathe, they will throw you in the ring.
You get in that damn ring.
Get in the ring.
Yeah, to quote Kia, I mean, if you have a pulse, I mean,
You get a pulse, just
you gotta go. You go.
Roll you out there.
And what's crazy too is that they told us 2 days ago. So they knew, I mean, to know that they'll still be this sick to miss a pay-per-view 2 days before the pay-per-view, that's so unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, that's meningitis is nothing to mess with.
Apparently not. And I mean, I know it's pretty contagious, so I don't know what the rest of the locker room is feeling right about now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I bet you everybody backstage is wearing surgical masks.
It's like a bunch of Japanese tourists backstage right now.
Absolutely.
The doctors once thought I had meningitis.
Oh, really?
One time. Yeah, I was at Magic Mountain here. I was in college on a camping trip. And we took all the campers, and I just got so sick, and I passed out, and they had to rush me to the hospital. And when they suspect meningitis, they give you what's called a spinal tap.
Oh.
And
Good movie, horrible thing. though.
Right? Yeah. And you have to get in like a fetal position, and they put this long needle in your back. And I hopped off the table and ran down the hall.
Oh.
And into someone else's room. And it was a dude. And I was like, don't tell him that I'm here. And his eyes were bloodshot. Evidently, he had mistook, the mints that look like drop that you drop them.
Oh, yeah.
He thought it was eye drops, and he put it in his eye.
He put mint drops in his eyeball?
Mint drops in his eyeballs.
Oh, my
and I'm
God.
hiding in this guys where I was like, so you don't see me.
You could hide real well from him.
Right?
So that worked
Yeah.
out for both of you.
But I got the spinal tap anyway, but I didn't have meningitis. So
That's
that was
terrible.
a good and bad thing.
So does that stop it from happening moving forward too? Like, are you now like prevented from getting meningitis
No,
in
I
the
didn't.
future?
I didn't have it, so I just got the spinal tap
you
just
just-
so they
for
could
fun?
detect it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Wee for spinal fluid.
Yay! So I mean, who knows what's happening with that? I mean, it's strange. So they brought in Kurt Angle is coming back first time in 11 years for
Yay,
WWE.
Kurt.
Yeah.
So he'll be in the ring, and then here's the interesting thing for me: they're giving us a fantasy match, Finn Balor versus AJ Styles now. So Finn Balor was going to face Bray. Now AJ Styles is coming from SmackDown to replace him. Now, to me, aren't you exposing a whole nother locker room? So you have one guy from SmackDown come over, wrestle a guy.
Cross-contamination.
Yeah,
right?
Now he takes that back to
like-
SmackDown.
Putting chicken on the fish cutting board.
Exactly. I actually
Yeah.
have different cutting boards. They're like labeled
Right?
with the
Yeah.
animal on
There you
them.
go.
Yeah, it's funny because didn't we see this match on the Indies? Yeah.
Well, they were both leaders of the Bullet Club. I mean, this is a big fantasy thing for WWE, so it's another one that I'm surprised. Like Kurt, I think they were going to save Kurt for Survivor Series or something. He was going to wrestle sooner than later. But to blow it now, something must be very important about TLC. I don't know if it's like a fiscal calendar ending or, if they were going to have the Shield be there in the first place, and when that didn't happen, they're doing Kurt Angle. So somebody is very anxious about how many people are watching TLC.
Yeah, and it's weird because, of course, the AJ and the Finn match and then Kurt coming back, it's like, they really had to pull two cards out of their bag, so to speak, in order to, to get people. And of course, the internet was buzzing, which was cool for them.
Yeah, I got a Google alert about Kurt Angle wrestling. Like, I mean,
Oh, wow.
it was definitely being talked about. For
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. So, bottom line is, you hope everybody gets better and well, but at the same time, they had to pull their cards, and, I'm actually interested to see Kurt get in the ring.
Me too. Oh, yeah. I mean, of course, you just want a good build-up. For a
Yeah.
guy who's been gone that long,
Right.
to have them say 2 days ago he'll be at the pay-per-view today, I don't know. That stinks. I'm sure they had a better dream and vision for that situation, but they were feeling the heat, so they had to do something.
Sometimes you just gotta,
Do what you gotta do.
right? Do what you gotta do.
At least he's there to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, cool that you can put
People
Kurt
will.
Angle on tap.
It's something they will tune in for. It's
Exactly.
like Kurt saves the day.
Yeah.
All American style. It's so appropriate. Like the All American saves the day.
He is an Olympic hero.
And it's one of those things, that they probably could have called anybody, and I'm sure they had thoughts of bringing people back just for a one-off, and it's that old saying, always be ready.
Yep.
Always be ready.
Yeah. Samoa Joe is in the wind right now. He's been hurt with an injury since
Yes.
SummerSlam. Apparently, he's cleared to wrestle again, so
What was
who
wrong
knows?
with
We'll
Joe?
see. I forget what he hurt.
I think it was a knee or something.
Yeah, it was something on his leg for sure. I just don't remember specifically what. Not too terrible, but he's been gone since.
Well, who knows? Joe will probably come in and do a spot, or
Yeah. I think
maybe they'll save Kurt. Just don't know.
whatever they were going to set up Kurt for Survivor Series, I guess they're just going to pull that trigger inside the match rather than whatever maybe was going to happen before.
Or maybe
I'm
see
just guessing.
Samoa Joe and Kurt at WWE.
They certainly know how to wrestle each other pretty
Right.
well.
Sure do.
So yeah, that was just that blew everybody's mind, and so I wanted to make sure that we talked about it on here. And I've never heard of a sickness taken down. And then what do they do? Survivor Series is like 3 weeks from now. If Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt have been sick for weeks, and Roman just got it, can they even do the Shield at Survivor Series?
A lot of spinal taps.
Spinal taps.
What a horrible! Never thought to hear that expression.
Right?
So much happier news. Let's move on to other things. Dodgers and Astros. World
Blue.
Series.
Yep.
How excited are you for the Dodgers there, Marty?
As an old school Dodger fan, I am, the last World Series that they were in '88, in which they won, I was a true blue diehard
Were
Dodger
you?
fan.
Nice. When did the team move here? Like it was circa
1961.
Okay, 61. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm more excited for my little old neighbor back in Compton. My sister's, she has this neighbor.
Okay.
And she loves baseball in period, but she loves the Dodgers.
Okay.
So, Mrs. Smith, I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm so happy for her because she just, I can just pat, hi, Mrs. Smith, and she'll tell me all the stats of everything.
Oh, I
and you have
see.
to respect your elders. So it's just like, RBI, yes. Mix those together and that makes ribs, which are going cold in my bag right now because you keep talking.
That's awesome.
I do like ribs more than RBIs. Now that you mentioned it. If I had to choose.
Yeah, but when they clinched it, I got a little emotional because it was cool to finally see the Dodgers. Of course, Angels are my team right now because of Sosha, but it was so cool. And it's funny because I send out congratulation texts to all my Dodger buddies and things of that nature.
And that game was like, what, 11-1 or something, that final game? Didn't they really?
Yeah, they blew the Cubs out.
Yeah.
But it's funny because all my boys who know me as far as baseball, they were like, hey, man, it's not too late to, come over to the dark side, so to speak. And I was like, but you know what, man, I don't want to be a bandwagon jumper guy. Bandwagon, I don't want to do that. But I will admit, that I want a World Series ball just to have one in a World Series hat, so as a baseball fan.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Are you going to try and go to the game? Any of them?
I would love to. I mean, hey, World Series, LA, yeah.
Why not?
Oh, gosh, you know what I hear when you say that? I hear there's going to be traffic on the 5. That's what I hear. That's all I heard just now.
And lots of it.
Lots of it,
That's all I
for
heard.
sure. I mean, and the Astros, too, I think they're not that old of a team, right? I mean, Astros.
1964.
Yeah. So
They actually started as Colt 45s.
is this the second time?
Like the
they've
beer?
been-
Or, I'm
No,
sorry, I forgot. That's all I hear, too.
Malt liquor.
So we got beer, ribs, and traffic.
Beer,
Yeah.
ribs, and traffic.
Hey.
I'm from L.A.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's a good, because, compared to the Yankees going again, I'd almost prefer anybody, really, just because it's more exciting. You want to see more people get that chance.
Yeah, the Astros were in the series, I believe it's 2004, 2003.
Yeah.
And, or actually 2005 because White Sox beat them. And but they were the National League. They were in the National League then, so now that's their first American League pennant. So, but it's real cool because I think them winning it, and if they do beat the Dodgers, I think it'll be a big boost for the city of Houston after dealing with all the tragedy. And
What a
hurricane
great story
stuff.
would that
Yeah.
be? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't,
So-
I don't know if you guys remember when the Women's World Cup was happening for soccer. Japan was in the final, and the lady who got the final score that made them win, she had worked to help at the nuclear plant.
After the tsunami.
But yeah, after the tsunami. So it's kind of a similar
Yeah,
thing of
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what a great.
And the Saints after Katrina, when,
yeah, I wonder if there's some kind of, it really motivates you maybe.
It
You're doing it
does.
for your city all of a sudden.
Manchester, when, like, after, Ariana Grande, her deal.
Oh, that's
I
right,
think
yeah.
That motivated them afterwards. It's just,
It's
it
interesting.
motivates you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as a baseball fan, I'm just excited for the World Series, and October is what is baseball's all about.
Yeah.
Let's do it for your country.
And lastly, I always like to present some weird news to you guys. So this just happened the other day. A man proposes to his wife on an airplane. They're taking off from London.
Okay.
They're headed to Bali. And this is what happens on their flight. About 30 minutes after taking off from London, the plane drops 20,000. It does. 20,000 feet in about 8 minutes. And here's a video from... This is Ezra. That lady just gets up out of her seat like she needs some milk for her coffee. I don't know what the hell she's doing. But this, it's just shaking. Like I said, 20,000 feet. The flight attendants walk through, tell everybody get into crash position.
You said it was going to be a scary episode.
This is scary,
This
right?
is spooky.
It's hella spooky. So there's a magazine this person wants to read. So the man and his girlfriend were flying to Bali. This all goes down. The medical masks fall out, from the ceiling.
No way.
So he proposes to her while this is all happening.
Like during.
There he is. I mean, he's a young guy. He was going to take her to Bali to propose there.
But he was like, okay.
And he's like, shit's
I
going
wanna
down.
live the,
We ain't
the
gonna
rest
get
of my
there.
life with you with just like 8 seconds. Say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes. I'm a Christian. We can't enjoy the kingdom of heaven together if we don't unite.
We ain't gonna make it.
We ain't gonna make it
We
outside.
can't live. We can't cross and sin. Say yes.
What I want to know is I mean, people are probably screaming and stuff while this is happening.
I didn't hear
and he's like-
anything though.
Well, I guess that was
but
as it
afterwards,
began.
yeah, okay.
The person probably lost their shit once it really started going down.
Yeah, I'd
the mask,
imagine.
Yeah, the mask
The masks
coming
weren't
down
down yet.
would be. Yeah.
that would freak me out. That's
That,
when you know.
yeah, they say put your own first and then help
then the child.
But I wouldn't get the other.
She out.
At least you breathe slower like that. So that's basically what they're trying to get you to do.
Yikes.
So there, people yelling and stuff, and he's trying to propose, and then it corrects itself. So it's like, so, I mean, I guess we can still go to Bali, but
Right? Did you mean that? Yes. Are you gonna take it back?
Okay, did she say yes or no? That's the big question.
They didn't say that in the story. I would presume she had, especially in the moment.
Yeah.
If shit's going wonky, you got to say no. I mean, you got to say yes.
Oh, Dale, Freudian.
I guess he would truly know if she loved him or not
Right
in that moment.
in that moment, right? Yeah.
Because if she said no, you shouldn't be taking her to Bali anyway.
No,
then.
right?
Yeah, and just think, I mean, if you had enough money to do it or whatever, that this was just a rib just to see if she did love him.
Right? Yeah, right.
To get
Set
off,
it all
it's
up.
actually just a studio set.
Yeah.
It's all- But if they're, oh my God, that high up, shaking
Shaking.
when you marry me,
I would have.
and then no, that's when you give her like an elbow and be like, blame it on the plane. Be like,
Oh, I'm sorry, bitch.
oh, the plane took her out, asked her to marry me and took her out.
You pull out her
now
return
I'm
ticket.
suing you off for $5 billion.
Her return ticket, he pulls it out.
Hope you enjoy living in Bali, dummy.
Exactly.
Oh my
Evil.
goodness. So that's the news for today. But that really would scare me though. I mean, I would probably poop my pants or something. I don't know what would happen.
That's Marty, I'm sure that's kind of happened to you where the planes drop. We travel a lot. You travel a lot.
I travel
too.
so
when
much,
when the
but-
planes drop and you hold on to the stranger and y'all both just hold on. Yes,
yeah.
Kong has grabbed strangers in an intimate way and has looked strangers in the eye and we're just like have that understanding of
We're doing this.
hold me close.
That's me in any haunted house though, also. I don't hold up well.
crazy, man.
Well, you know I'm not allowed in haunted houses.
Yeah, you're gonna hurt somebody in a haunted house.
Kong is not allowed. Kids not allowed in haunted houses because I get scared.
And
And
then
then I actually punch people.
and punch people.
So I'm not allowed.
It's just a natural reaction
It's
for
just
her.
a natural reaction. So I hold the coats.
So we don't go to Universal.
No, I hold the coats and I sit outside. And then when everybody comes out of the haunted house, I hand them their coats back.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah, you know.
You can get some spooky snacks or something.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't do the. I have active imagination, and I actually believe in it. I believe I have active imagination. I see a zombie, I'm like, it could be.
In a way, it's kind of a compliment to them if you punch them.
Wow.
Because it's like, oh,
But
you
some
really
people are-
got me.
Some people are so litigious now, no, I don't want to hurt the people. I have to walk through talking on my phone whenever I go, and people make me go, oh, you have to go, you have to go. I go and I walk through the scare zones and I can't find you. Where are you? Wait, over by the what? And then I get out the scare zone, and then it's cool because they don't mess with people when they say, "Oh, she's lost." Oh,
Yeah.
oh, leave her alone.
You no sell the whole experience.
Yes,
is what's
the
happening.
whole experience. No,
You know, but
Yeah,
it's no different than a rib with the boys. I mean, if you're putting it over that you're scared, then they're going to go after you.
Yeah, yeah. That's what you. If you. No, I am not. I'm focused. I've lost my child. Damn it! How dare would you jump out at me? I've lost. Do you see me and hear me? I'm looking for my child. That's the trick, people. Just know.
That's what you should do. That's smart. I do that same trick at Comic-Con when I have somebody else's badge. I just pretend to be on my
Right.
phone and act very important.
Oh, that's
I've just got to go. I'm sorry. I need to be inside.
I love how we still do this.
I know. Phones don't look
Kids
nothing like this.
today are like, what? What does
They
that
don't
mean?
Are they using,
Is this now? That's how you.
are they using phones in Hawaii?
Call loose, brother.
Yeah.
Who's talking about?
So in that spooky vibe, so Bray Wyatt, I would say, talking about Bray Wyatt, is probably one of the scarier guys they have right now. I mean, he's definitely got this, you know, as much as people may have liked or not liked the Sister Abigail stuff, he's got a certain something to him that is frightful. Who are some people from the past maybe that when you guys were growing up or watching wrestling a lot, who has been some of the scariest characters in wrestling that really got you? On purpose or maybe not on purpose. I mean, really, Doink could be really scary.
We don't talk about Doink.
That's fair enough.
Which one?
That's fair enough.
Hey,
Yeah, well.
hey, man. That's
She
talking
just said.
about him, man. I would say, even as an adult, the boogeyman it seems, I mean, worms, just the worm part, it was just like, dude, you
And the
went
fact
all out.
He didn't have any teeth, so it was even
like,
scarier to like poke out of the hole of his mouth.
Yes, I mean, even as a full-grown adult, I believe when he got to shaking, I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna look to sideways to the left of the TV.
It's funny. It's funny because a little side note, he would actually stop at like bait shops on the way to the building,
Fresh worms
to buy the worms.
Oh.
You know, I remember a couple times, you know, when I was doing the time stooging, the referees need to do. He would show up late, and I was like, you know, Boog, what's up, man? He's like, oh, brother, man, yeah, you know, the bait shop didn't have the worms I needed, so I had to go to another one. So there were specific worms that he used.
Oh.
Yeah, they used to be long. What was it? They were like really long earthwormy.
And he'd have them in his bag and, you know, come do the deal. I mean, there's the worms. It's like,
Did he get a bonus for that? Or was just like, that's the gimmick you came up with, live with it, kid?
to tell you the truth, I don't know.
I'd love to see
I would hope so.
Yeah, I'd love to see a worm bonus paycheck.
Right? Yeah. I mean, when people get hair bonus paychecks.
Reimbursement for worms.
Yeah.
And what about the people? Forget about him. He chose to do it at some point, and he went with it. But what about the people that he faced, and he would spit the worms onto or into their mouths? That to me is bonus worthy, especially. I doubt they.
all sour. It's all sour.
Especially Charmel or somebody like that really is not trying to
Yeah, right.
mess with no worms.
Not trying to have the essence of worm.
Well, you know, the bad part about it is being part of the ring crew, we used to clean that up. So what we used to do is we just get the canvases and just roll the worms in and just throw it off to the side.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about you, Marty? Who was kind of a scary person in your opinion?
The character that I loved, and you know, before you know we were discussing, I was thinking about it. There was two guys. The first one was Papa Shango. Ooh. Papa Shango, when he first debuted, I mean, you really believed. I mean, this guy
Absolutely.
was, you know, the monster, the voodoo, and just like his gimmick was amazing, man, when he first came in.
And voodoo really freaks me out too.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of it is
Not gonna
very
touch it.
unearthing.
You know, and voodoo, of course, you know, with the little dolls you can put the pins in and all. It was just, you know, when he came in, I mean, it was like, wow, man, this guy's. But of course, early Undertaker, and the reason I say that is, back I want to say 1990, 91, I was backstage at the sports arena with Paul Roma, and my wife and daughter and I were actually going to our seats, and we were walking through a corridor, and unbeknownst to me, we turned, and all you see is Paul Bearer, and then right behind him is the Undertaker. So my wife and daughter are like on the side of me. So they go and they run right into the Undertaker, and they just kind of, and my wife and daughter just scream, and my daughter's like 6 at the time or whatever, and she just starts bawling her head off and everything. And it's funny because she's like crying, and my wife's like scared to death. And then Paul Bearer, you know, Bill Moody, God bless him, man, he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, we didn't mean to do that," you know. And "Oh, are you okay, darling?"
He was almost scarier in his own right,
Was,
you know?
man.
Yeah.
Like, was.
That was a
Yes.
creepy looking individual, especially when you had the makeup and
The
stuff.
voice, the voice.
Yeah, but to run into them in a hallway just by yourselves, I mean, you know, I'm getting goosebumps because
Right.
it was like, holy smokes,
Yeah.
you know.
No,
Who'd you
thank
just meet? Death.
I mean, I would say Awesome Kong was a pretty scary character.
Oh, in a different way, I would say.
Intimidating.
I was just saying, oh,
But
we're in tune. Yeah,
some-
intimidating. Not like under your bed.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes that's worse, though.
you
I
think
mean,
so?
Could be. Depends on what your mood is.
True. That's why I ordered it.
Uh-huh.
Scary.
It is scary.
Scary.
Kabuki was somebody that kind of, you know, could be a freaky character.
Yes.
Gangrel always freaked me out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
teeth give them,
just something about his vibe. He came off like sleazy and scary all at the same time.
teeth in the
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And vampires are kind of freak me out for some
Yeah.
reason.
My best friend won't do anything vampire. She's like, I'm like, let's go see. She's like, oh no, it has vampires. I'm like, ugh. Come on. It's like one tooth in there.
It's just a really sharp canine.
Right? Come on.
It's a big deal. Do you remember ECW? They had Sinister Minister. Do you remember that guy? He had like long fingernails.
No.
He didn't last too long over there, but he was another one that he was sort of like, you know, when the Lucifer is in any movie, he's like in a suit, but he has this like twisted ambiance to him. He had that kind of vibe to him.
Almost like Christopher Walken in The Prophecy.
Exactly.
Something like
Yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily scary, but it's something about the mood of way they present themselves. So is there any people nowadays? I feel like it's harder and harder because wrestling has to be more real, air quotes, that it's harder to have those type of characters. Bray Wyatt, like we said, is a good example of being able to accomplish that. I would say Pentagon Dark is somebody who, if you just looked at him, he's got those white contacts, and he's got the face paint, and he breaks people's arms. That's a pretty scary guy that you don't want to get in the ring with. But I don't know if he's specifically Undertaker scary or Paul Bearer scary.
No, but you know, when you see him in person and you see the vibe and you get it, I mean, it's like, you know, you just don't know.
He's intimidating.
He's very intimidating, man, because he gives that aura, and he's just very scary in person.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the first time, you know, that I ever got to work with him, I was like, man, this guy, is he going to shoot or what? I mean, this guy, he was just, you know, and this is before I got to know him. And it was like, wow, this guy. And for me, leading into that, Mim Huertas is a guy that can be very, very scary. You know, he is stronger than a shit brick house.
How tall is he? He seems like he's pretty tall.
He's maybe 6'1", 6'2".
Maybe he just looks taller.
But he's
amongst
just
the-
so thick and solid, and he doesn't even know his own strength, man. I mean, the guy is just like stupid strong.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember we were walking through something at a rehearsal one time, and I had my hand on the rope in the corner, and he was throwing some punches or whatever, and he threw a punch and he caught me, and he broke my knuckles right here.
Oh my God.
Just by screwing around. Just, you know, I was just there, and I was, oh, of course, you know, scraggly, you know, fat boy, little referee guy. I mean, compared to him, I mean, but it was just like, ooh, that hurt.
How do you heal from a broken knuckle? You just gotta wait.
You just wait.
Yeah,
you just wait.
it out.
Yeah, and it hurt.
All right. Yeah, I'm not into that.
And it was funny. It's like, bro, what I do, bro?
Bro.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that Lucha Underground in general has such a dark, creepy vibe to it that a lot of characters can kind of live in that world a little bit better than WWE because you know they have the brighter lighting and the thing. You know, they don't make it as moody as Lucha Underground.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if you guys seen the season finale of season 3.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there was a lot of just different things happening there. You know, so hopefully, if you know the El Rey Network and people are listening, the powers that be, maybe a season 4 will happen. I don't know at this point.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Who knows what's next?
Yeah, let's get on that, people. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if you guys saw him, but Solomon Crow was this character in NXT. He's now at Lucha Underground. But the character he was playing at NXT was like this modern day hacker, but he had like this goth kind of vibe to him. And I feel like if they had given that time, because everything that's scary to me now is kind of like nuclear, war, and hacker, the ability of like, even all the, what was that, where they just got all the financial information, which company? Equifax, yeah. I mean, that is like legit scary to me because my credit's already doing poorly on its own. I don't need any help.
Yeah, exactly.
Open envelope.
But nothing spookier and scarier than, our White House residents.
Bum, bum, bum.
Thank you. I knew you'd appreciate that.
If only that could be a character in WWE. Oh, wait, he kind of is.
Hall of Famer.
So I went to Universal Horror Nights this weekend, and that stuff does scare me. And you can't see it right now, but my hair is like neon yellow. So all the black light stuff made my hair reactive. So I was just chased incessantly in that place. But it had me thinking, like, they got Harry Potter. Disney is building the Star Wars stuff right now. They're coming out with Nintendo Land. Like, if WWE...
Stop. They're coming out with what?
Nintendo Land.
What?
Universal, right?
Universal.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Uh-huh. Japan's getting it first, but we get it right after them. Uh-huh.
Isn't that awesome?
I want to...
If you don't react like this, you weren't born in the freaking 80s, man.
Exactly.
You didn't live the 80s. This is so exciting. Okay, you guys should have told me this beforehand. Now I need wait. Tell me all about it. You gotta take 30 seconds to tell me what's gonna be in it.
That is more than
30
fine.
seconds. 30 seconds.
So
tell me.
they're building it like Harry Potter, where it'll be an entire section of the park. It's going to all the parks. Japan gets it first, then us. They're going to do, I think Mario Kart is one of the things. Zelda something. They haven't given us a lot of facts. And then there's one other one they announced. I don't remember what the other one was, but they said it announced 3 different types of things to launch with.
Okay, all I ask Nintendo people is that I be able to walk the streets of your little Nintendo land and be able to punch the little squares with the question mark on it. Just random little foam thingies.
And it rains quarters.
Right? Quarters.
I really hope that they do the duck hunt with the dog.
Oh.
Really hope they do that, because that was my favorite.
Yeah, even if they just did it, you know how they do those old school style where you can just shoot stuff?
Yes.
It's like the Wild West. Just do a duck hunt one.
I
That'd be so great.
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to get you off topic. We were talking about now if WWE did one, now what?
Now, so in that vein, what would be some good WWE rides? Like,
There's the obvious.
The last ride?
The last ride.
Would that be like a dark tunnel, like something, and there's just a big drop? Like, how would it? How could it be? Or do you have to ride like a Harley?
Yeah, something in the mix of it, like like it's the absolutely. And when you do ride it, you actually leave the park. You can't come back.
It has to be your last ride.
It has to be the last ride. This is how you leave the park.
It ends in the parking lot.
Ends in the parking lot. The hell on.
I would like that. What do you think, Marty? You got any ideas?
Like there would have to be a roller coaster called the Showstopper, that would really just stop your heart and just like take your breath away, that would just like be the end all of roller coasters, And what I mean by that is, a combination of, the X rides that they have at Magic Mountain, and then the Ride of Steel, I believe in Darien, New York, that they have, the Superman ride.
Oh, the Superman one. I rode that one. Is it where it like cranks you back and you feel like you're flying?
Yeah. And then there's another one where you actually go so high that right at Darien, New York, you can actually, on a clear day, you can actually see Canada. You're up so high. Yeah, and woo, talk about a ride, man. Woo.
Yeah.
I would have a corny one, like, something that's love themed with all the characters that had, like, a love thing or heart, like all the hearts or Jimmy Hearts.
Yeah.
But brother love.
And the brother love.
Love you.
Yes.
If they could figure out a way to make random park employees just come up and RKO people,
right?
I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe like a padded
You didn't pick up your trash.
Boom.
You know what would be cool is like the park employees would wear the old WWF jumpsuits. Remember the camera guys used to wear the old overall jumpsuits, you know? Park employees wear that. I mean, I always thought those were cool, man.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe they pretend like they're filming you, but then it just squirts you in the face with water. I think it would be so much fun. And what the weird thing is, Universal, filming your own promo would be something. They do that at Access, where you can come down the ramp and you pick your music, but to do that, I think people just want to be a wrestler. Like, if you watch wrestling, you want to be a wrestler in some degree. So filming a promo, or even being able to get in at Access too, they have a ring and you can climb on it a little. I don't think they let you go to the top, but it's filled with like foam blocks so that you can jump, you know, and do a move or two. I would love something on a bigger scale like that. Like, even if you were rigged to those little jumpy things, so you could do a spin. And just do whatever
spin
you feel
or
like.
spit.
Spin or spit.
Or backwards moonsault or something like that.
Yeah. Cool.
That'd be so rad.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But Universal has such a good relationship with WWE. I don't see why they haven't already done something kind of like that. If they're doing all these other things like Simpsons and what's the other one? Harry Potter and stuff. It seems like they could easily
give them a little corner somewhere.
get a little sound.
Yeah, you know, for me, you know, like WWF New York when they had the restaurant and stuff.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
that was so cool. And then I remember back in 2002, something like that, there was a rumored WWF casino that was being talked about at one point.
I have always wondered why they didn't
It's
have
like,
a casino.
Man, you know, that would be so cool. But especially now, I mean, them being so corporate and, you know, PG-13 and all that stuff, you know, they would fit right in. I mean, the merchandising you could do from exclusive of the parks and just personal appearances, and I mean, it could be something that could be very, very cool for everybody.
For everyone,
Yeah.
especially the talent. Because if you're hurt and you can just go and do the personal appearances for a while you're recuperating and not have to be on the road, or just interchange them out so that storylines don't get stale, they come back and it's fresh and it's just on this road together.
And if they did it at the Orlando Universal, I mean, NXT is right down there.
yeah.
So it'd be so easy to incorporate
so
that.
easy.
Nobody would have to move or be there special.
You know?
That'd be super nice. So another thing I was thinking of is the going back to the pay-per-view missing 2 people. I wanted to talk about, do you guys know of any times when they had to do something on the fly with anything that you guys were involved with? I meant to bring this up earlier, but because sometimes when somebody gets hurt or gets out, it can even end up a little bit better, you know, with the replacement or with somebody else coming in to a match. Have you guys had any instances in your careers where something went down, you were going to wrestle somebody or call something, and then things had to change? I have a couple examples while you guys think about it. They had, just recently, 2015 was the most recent one I could think of. They had the Beast in the East. It was like the first time they were doing like Brock Lesnar was coming back to do a non-pay-per-view, I guess. It was his first match there. There was a 3-way for the women's title. It was supposed to be Nikki, Paige, and Naomi, and then Naomi had a death in the family. And so they put Tamina in to replace her. But that was like, I think it was like the day of or something that had happened. The Survivor Series 2014, Sheamus hurt himself that day, and they put in who was it that they replaced him with? Oh, Rowan. They put in Rowan, and then they even gave him a face turn. You know, like it changed his character moving forward from there. Like, it's so interesting to have those kind of things pop up, especially pay-per-views. Like we were saying, it's so rare. I thought maybe you guys might have something where. Or did you have to ever miss anything?
My career started off that way.
Oh, did it really?
I mean, you know, Aja was supposed to face Hota Yumiko in Kawasaki, and then she parted ways with the company, and so they brought me in.
Oh,
you know,
I didn't realize.
And it actually happens more frequently than it happens. Actually, very frequently.
Yeah.
Because we don't have an off season.
Right.
And life happens.
Yeah.
And so we have to adapt constantly to the point where it probably is hard for Marty and I to pinpoint a time where
it happens a lot.
Because it happens a lot. It's like it changes all the time. So it's actually a very common part of wrestling, and it's just you gotta adapt.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm going, wow, I think but you know what? WrestleMania 24, I had the Diva tag team match with Beth and Melina versus, I believe it was Maria.
Was it Ashley?
Ashley?
Yeah.
But I know Ashley got replaced, or Candace was supposed to be in that spot.
I think Ashley took Candace's place, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Because I remember that happening like day of.
Okay.
That happened day of, and we had to rearrange everything, the finish and everything, because Maria or somebody was going to be going over. But then when I think Candace pulled out, or Ashley, one of the two, that's when they changed the finish, and Beth and Melina went over.
It's just got to be so frustrating when you plan so much around it, especially pay-per-views. Like at house shows and even on TV, I feel like, well, I'm not tuning in. I'm tuning in to watch wrestling. I'm not necessarily coming for a specific match most of the time. Right. But it's got to be so hard on everyone in the back end when it's a pay-per-view and you're looking for certain buys or certain things. So it's WrestleMania. That's a doozy. Yeah. I'm sure somebody was cussing themselves out that day.
Yeah, Ashley replaced Candace. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it more.
Okay, yeah. And was that the Playboy match?
Yes, okay. With Snoop Dogg and Santino and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that was. Matter of fact, during that match too, the lights went out.
Oh.
The lights went out.
And didn't that continue for a while? Because I feel like Randy Orton's match needed a spotlight or something.
Yeah, because they went out for about 5-10 minutes, and I remember Jerry Briscoe telling them, tell everybody to take their time, and, and calm everybody down. And I was like, okay, so we're running through it and stuff, and finally, like towards the finish, or I think after the finish, the lights came on and everything, because then they had to get Snoop in to do his thing with Santino and Kiss Maria and all that other good stuff. But then I remember watching Randy's match, and lights went out again, and it was like, oh my God, everybody's screaming, and spotlight on Randy.
That's crazy. Have you guys heard the new WWE game is out? Did you hear Snoop Dogg's song that he wrote for it? It's awesome. Like, it is really, really shockingly, like, it's all branded for, who's in the game, but he just does such a good job. It's probably a minute and a half or something like that. But you should check it out. It made me, we already knew he was a fan, but to write a song
he's such a huge fan. It's not even funny.
Just so super cool. All right, well, if you guys have any scary wrestlers that we did not mention, make sure to hit us up in the comments or tweet us and let us know who you think the scariest is. There's plenty other ones too. Oh, here's the Snoop Dogg song.
Be different, be weird, be huggers, be fireflies, be mohawks, be beards. Like no one, like nothing, like whatever, like this. Like Oscar, like Charlotte, like Becky, like Bliss. No tap outs, no count outs, no 3 counts, no friends. No stop it, no nostalgia, no now with no then. Etc. It's even, this doesn't have the visuals with it, but the way it pairs up with who they show on the screen is really good too. So nice. I don't know, I just thought it was super cool. Well, everyone enjoy their Halloween. Like I said, send us who you think is scary, and can they still accomplish that scary vibe nowadays? Can there be another Undertaker? We didn't even mention Kane, by the way. He had a scary moments.
Bad
he wasn't
blood, when he first came in.
Yeah, even just that mask or that
Mankind.
voice. Mankind was creepy scary, I felt like, for a lot of that stuff.
His vignettes were amazing when he first came in.
Oh, yeah. So let us know if you think of anybody else. Otherwise, Marty, put yourself over.
Okay.
Marty always puts himself over.
Okay, kid. Okay. Marty Elias, at Marty Elias 1967 on Twitter. At Instagram, Marty Elias 67 on Facebook, just good old Marty Elias. And this Tuesday, I'll be working the Loudwire Awards show with Chris Jericho.
Nice.
At downtown Novo, I believe. And it's going to be fun.
I tell you, I always puts himself over. Kia Stevens, Twitter, Mean Queen K. And you guys need to follow my Instagram, because I guess that's the platform now, Spinning Fist Instagram.
Follow me too.
Spinning Fist.
And I am The Walking Dale on Instagram and Twitter. You should probably just fix one of them to be the same. It's confusing. I always mark you on the wrong thing.
Well, because someone stole it.
Oh, we gotta take Awesome Kong to somebody's house. Is what you're saying.
They stole it.
We're coming for you.
Knock.
I'm The Walking Dale on Instagram and Twitter, and then you can follow us at Ringside Pop and everything else. And we will see you guys next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Dale Rutledge, and Stephen Lemieux, managing producer for AfterBuzz Wrestling Mark Donica, and the entire Ringside Pop staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow the show on Twitter at Ringside Pop. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later!